Okay, guys, I'm back with this Marshall. Um, pulled the main board out, pulled everything out, checked out things. I actually pulled a couple of caps to check the capacitance on the capacitors, and they were fine. Checked the voltage, and I'm going to insert an image here. I checked the voltage at all the tube spots to ensure that they were getting the right voltage to every part, to every leg on those tubes. The tube socket voltage was perfect on everything. And I finally come to the conclusion by moving these 12 AX7s from spot to spot that the amp would do different things. So I thought, well, I've got at least one bad 12 AX7, possibly two, because of the way I tracked it down and the way I moved them from position to position. I also checked the bias on the power tubes. Now listen, the Marshall thing says that this thing should be biased to 90 per side. This middle one here is where your ground is, and then you check the millivolts on each side to see what your power tubes are getting. Listen, this thing was set to 90 on each tube. Well, everywhere I read, folks were saying this ought to be about 40 to 45. And so I knew that was probably true. The rating on these new matched pair I got said 39 volts. I got these both now biased at about 38.5, I think. And I put all new 12AX7s in, or ECC 83s, whatever you want to call them. They're all JJ tubes. Guess what? The amp sounds good now. I still got some trouble in the reverb circuitry on that little deep button. I really don't know what that is, but I still get, it's not as bad, but I still get some feedback in the lower registers. It's just like a low, but at least now my presence knob is working. And I did find where they plugged one of those boards in wrong when I got the schematics to the amp. The board that the reverb and the post volume, and what else is up there? The effects loop. That was actually, those were plugged in wrong to the main board. So I used the schematics, plugged all those in correctly. I told you somebody had been in this before. Also, it's very important that you put this thing, your internal speakers in here, and I checked them with the meter. They are 16 ohms. Oh, I need to clean that. I evidently need to clean that. And don't run this on 8 ohms. Okay, run the 16 ohms if you're using the internal speakers. That definitely made a difference in the sound. I didn't even notice till I got it all together and come back here to plug this in, and I thought, wow, that's on. Now I don't know if it was on 8 ohms originally, but I moved it back to 16. Definitely noticed a difference in the functionality of the amplifier. Replaced all these tubes with JJs from amplifierparts.com. That's usually where I buy my stuff if I can. And I'll let you hear the amp. It's doing really good. I got no complaints about it. I don't know if I'm gonna sell it or keep it. I don't have a foot switch in this. They got this little proprietary, what is it, a 5-6 pin deal. If not for that, I would just make me a foot switch to go from the lead to the clean channel. I don't really need 2 gain channels. I set one up like I like it and just switch back and forth from clean to it. And The amp seems to be working good. I biased this, I told you, back to about 38.5 millivolts per power tube, which the tube, right on the tube, it says 39 volts. So, you know, I don't know why Marshall says to run them up to 90, but that's crazy. And some people say, well, they mean 45 per tube. Well, that's not the way this reads. Okay, this thing reads, it reads 45, 45. If you run this thing up to 90, that means you're getting 90 and 90. I don't think that's correct. So I bias these things at 38.3 volts, millivolts on the power tubes, and it sounds good. I think I'm done with it. I think I'm going to leave it just like it is. I'll put a little insert in here at the end of me playing it, dirty and clean. And it's a Mexican Strat. It's not a real expensive guitar, but you'll hear how good the amplifier sounds. And though it is an old Mexican Strat, it's one of the first ones. I think I gave $200 on the deal that me and my brother bought one at the same time. The guy let us have them for $200 a piece. So, and it's been a good old guitar. But yeah, sounds good. And we're going to leave it right where it is. I have no reason to want to run that bias up and run those tubes that hot. So we're going to leave it right where it is. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Click the like button. You know, do whatever it is you do. Subscribe. And thanks for watching.